Alright, let's start with preamble today. Here is just the preface of the Constitution. Mr. Nana Palkiwala says it is the identity card of the Constitution. K.M. Munshi, he talks about preamble and says it is a political horoscope of the Constitution. What is the importance of the preamble? It talks about the values of the state, the nation. It talks about the sources of power of the Constitution. It talks about aims, aspirations of founding fathers. It talks about political, social, and economic goals of this nation. Text of the preamble, it reads like, "We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution." That is what the text of preamble reads like. So it talks about the source of authority. It says, "We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India." So the source of authority is from the people itself. The nature of Indian state, it is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic. We'll see what they are in short way. Objectives of the Constitution: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. The date of adoption of the Constitution, 26th November 1949. All this are mentioned in the preamble. Alright. In the Supreme Court in Madan Gopal Kabra versus Union of India, 1953, states that "we the people of India" implies that the Constitution of India derives authority from the citizens. Right? So preamble says sovereign. What does sovereign mean? Sovereign means that a nation that governs itself with the defined territorial boundaries. Right? And it has the right to make treaties, agreements with other nations. Yeah. Sovereign also means it is neither dependent nor a dominion of any other nation. Supreme Court also held this in Charan Lal Sahu versus Union of India case. Okay, what does socialist means? Socialist means the means of production and distribution is owned by state, or the questions of economy, like what to produce, for whom to produce, how to produce, everything is decided by the state or the government, rather than the market forces or the market forces demand and supply. That's it. So the next thing, it also says, socialism. When we talk about socialism, India follows democratic socialism, not communistic socialism. Right? We don't own all the means of production. I mean, the state doesn't own all the means of production by itself. The word socialist in preamble is added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. In D.S. Nakara versus Union of India case, Supreme Court says socialism's primary purpose in India is to provide better standard of living and social security. Right? Preamble also talks about secularism. What is secular? Secular is strict separation of state from religion. Religion is separated from state. Right? There is no interference between the policies of religion and state. It is also added through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. The negative concept of secularism. Negative concept of secularism talks about full separation. Right? For example, France is a nation that follows negative concept of secularism. France banned the religious symbols, wearing religious symbols out in public, or wearing burqa out in public. And positive concept of secularism. In positive concept of secularism, all faiths are given equal respect. In case of India, India follows positive concept of secularism. Example, it gives subsidies or some financial assistance for any Christians who want to go to Jerusalem, or for Muslims who want to go to Makkah. The preamble talks about democratic What is democracy? Democracy means rule by people. There are types of democracy. There is direct democracy and indirect democracy. In direct democracy, the population or the people directly participate in the decision making of the nation. For this, to participate directly, we need some tools. So the tools of direct democracy are referendum, plebiscite, initiative, and recall. In referendum, the legislation is put on vote, on public vote. So the people will vote, and then the legislation will be enacted if there is popular majority. Example: Brexit. Britain put on vote to whether to stay inside the UK, United Kingdom, or to exit. So Britain exiting United Kingdom is called Brexit. The people wanted to exit from the UK, right? Plebiscite. It is also a direct democracy tool, a tool of direct democracy. Important public matters, generally to solve territorial disputes. Plebiscite, important public matters, generally to solve territorial disputes. Examples: if a state wants to segregate from itself, like Telangana, it wanted to form a separate Telangana state. Had the government put plebiscite, that means government will ask the popular opinion. People will vote whether they want to stay in Telangana or they don't want to. The next direct democracy tool is initiative. Citizens can propose legislations by themselves, and the legislature will enact. Legislation is nothing but the parliament in case of India, Congress in case of America. Right? Recall. Voters can remove public officials before their term. The voters can remove public officials before their term if they're not satisfied. That means you can call back your MP or MLA if you're not satisfied with their work. A republic. What does the term republic means? Republic means the head of the state is elected. Doesn't matter direct, indirect, elected. The political authority is in the hands of people. There is no privileged class. Public offices are open to every citizen. Right. Objectives of the preamble or the constitution. It talks about justice, social, economic, and political. Right. Social justice means there should be no privileges for any section based on race, religion, caste, place of birth, etc., etc. And economic justice is there should not be high income inequalities or wealth inequalities, property inequalities. Okay, there is political justice. That means equal political rights to all the citizens. If you add social and economic justice, you call it distributive justice. You add social and economic justice, it becomes distributive justice. That just says it means fair allocation of rewards and costs. Nothing else. Liberty of speech, expression, belief, faith, and worship. That's what the Constitution talks about. Liberty means absence of restrictions on individual activities. It talks about equality of state, equality of civic and economic. So, if you talk about civic, it means equal rights and freedom. Economic equality, providing fair and equal opportunity for every citizen to work and make some money. Yeah. Fraternity, that just means sense of brotherhood, just to promote among them all fraternity, to promote fraternity. Preamble talks about promoting fraternity. It also talks about, it doesn't talk about actually. Article 394 talks about all the other articles that are enforced on 26th November 1949 with preamble. Article 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 68, 324, 366, 367, 379, 380, 388, 391, 392, 397 are enforced on the date 26th November 1949. But the rest of the Constitution was enforced on 26th January 1950. That is when we celebrate Republic Day on every year, 26th January. Yeah. Is preamble a part of Constitution? There is a debate, right? In Beruvari case, the Supreme Court says no, preamble is not a part of Constitution, but it is a key to the mind of Constitution makers, the makers of the Constitution of India. It says because it is not a part of the Constitution, you cannot amend the Constitution. In case of Ananda Bharathi versus State of Kerala case, 1973. The Supreme Court talks about who says preamble is a part of the Constitution. Why? It is voted like any other part of the Constitution in the Constituent Assembly. Right? It also says because it is a part of the Constituent Assembly, preamble can be amended without disturbing the basic structure of the Constitution. It can be amended, but without disturbing the basic structure. Right? In a Sarvamai case, he reaffirms that preamble is a part of Constitution. In LIC versus the Government of India case, it says preamble is a part of Constitution, but it is not enforceable in court of law. That means you cannot go to court saying that someone has violated the preamble of the Constitution. It is not enforceable. It is neither a source of power to legislature nor a prohibition upon the powers of legislature. So at the end, can preamble be amended? Yes, preamble was amended already, like we talked. 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, socialist, secular, integrity, these three words were added in 42nd Amendment Act. That's about of preamble.